Okay, I'm adding a few podcasts to the Oceans, Drawdown, where I had already added other books from Bill Gates and the 100% Solution and so on. This good report I found while preparing for a talk for the UN Ocean Day celebration that comes up on June 8th. So I will go through this, just the figures as usual. It's more like a executive summary so that you can read the details if you want to get more deeper into it. So it's called Ocean Solutions That Benefit People, Nature and the Economy by these authors here, commissioned by a high-level panel for a sustainable ocean economy. Some good ideas are presented. The new vision here is proposed to be realized, requiring an integrated rather than a sectoral approach that's based on 5 building blocks. So it's about ocean economy that is not just focused on energy, fisheries, deep sea mining and other environmental, let's say marine protection areas, coral reefs and so on, but how to make them all work together. So the 5 pillars are using science and data to drive decision making. Data is critical for everything, especially for the ocean. There are vast swaths of the ocean which are not being monitored very well. Engaging in goal-oriented ocean planning. De-risking finance and using innovation to mobilize investment, stopping land-based pollution because all the coastal pollutions and the cascades into harmful algal blooms, deoxygenation, hypoxic regions, fisheries impacts, pathogens and so on are all related to land use activities and land-based pollutions, nutrient runoffs and so on. Changing ocean accounting so that it reflects the true value of the ocean. So this is something that goes a little bit into how to actually count for the economic benefits of the ocean. And that's always tricky because everybody has to do some sort of a life cycle analysis to make progress on that. So we'll see one example that Norway is doing for better ocean accounting, and maybe it'll make more sense when we look at that. The prologue here gives examples of 5 sustainable ocean economy stories. I'm not at all going into them, just kind of tell you there are 5 sustainable ocean economy stories. This map that's used consistently in the report is a ocean focused map. So you look at it from the South Pole, so you have the Southern Ocean and then the Atlantic, Pacific and Indian Oceans with the continents spread around. So instead of looking at the regular map that we always look at, or the sphere where lands look so prominent and the continents, we are so used to identifying them. Here it takes some effort. So Asia is here, west coast of North America, west coast of South America, east coast of South America, and Europe and east coast of North America and Africa, Asia are here. Of course, Antarctica and Australia, New Zealand and New Guinea, Indonesia and so on. The examples of the sustainable ocean economy stories are on blue carbon credit sales, sustainable artisanal fisheries, multi-sector marine protected areas. These are kind of success stories. Regenerative ocean farming, low carbon shipping systems. So these are critical issues that are being addressed, and obviously they need to be scaled up. So this is the Mikoko Pomoja at work about artisanal fisheries. That's the second project here. I hope it's not the blue carbon. Maybe it's the blue carbon. You can read it up. The P5 is Green Wave Ocean Farming Model. It's vertical farming using the 3-dimensional structure of the ocean to do mussels, seaweed, scallops, oysters and clams. Again, it's a question of, even if it includes hydroponics, it's about scaling pollution end-to-end life cycle analysis to see the benefits versus costs and impacts. Excuse me. Impacts on the ocean and emissions and so on. Quickly to jump to chapter 1, the urgency of today is done in a few figures. This is using the metaphor for the icebergs, which only 10% sticks out and 90% is underwater. So it's looking at the ocean's importance to humankind, typically perceived value of ocean economy. 2.5% of global gross value added with 31 million jobs. But when you look at comprehensive contribution of the ocean to people and nature, you can look at material contribution in terms of food security, energy security, minerals, genetic resource, medicine, regulation of environmental processes like oxygen production, animal habitat creation, global climate regulation. Ocean takes up more than 93% of, or almost 93% of the excess energy from greenhouse gas emissions and other human activities. It's a massive carbon sink. Non-material contributions, so that's inspiration, culture, enjoyment, community, identity. So the non-market values of ocean services are always hard to account for, but the new accounting wants to do that. And maintenance of options like medicines yet to be discovered. So often ocean is a source of new discoveries of antibiotics, vaccines, all kinds of chemicals used for various medicines. Okay. Scope of ocean food discussed in this report basically looks at wild caught and then farmed, so marine aquaculture or mariculture. And within farmed, it looks at fed, so finfish and crustaceans, or free feeding unfed bivalves, which just filter feeders, oysters, mussels, algae, and so on. And there are many ideas on how to use bivalves, reefs as natural coastal defenses as well. Under the urgency, we also want to look at seafood gap to a healthy 2050 diet under business as usual scenario. So if we don't have any policies for dealing with the ocean economy and the holistic management of the ocean system, then in terms of food million metric tons, in 2014 seafood production was 80 million metric tons in terms of wild caught, 27 mariculture for a total of 107. 2050 estimated maximum ocean food potential under business as usual, which is no policies at all. Then it would be down to 67, but mariculture would go up almost more than 2 times to 66 million metric tons to a total of 133. And that would leave us a gap of 27 to 85 million metric tons because the seafood 2050 demand to meet a sustainable healthy diet is estimated at 160 to 218. So that's the difference between this estimated number and this estimated number. Obviously, these are estimates. One has to keep that in mind. Let me leave this here and come to ocean's role in sequestering carbon or other greenhouse gases as well, and compare that to what we generally look at when we talk about reaching the 1.5 degree C goal with 66% probability by 2100, and where we have to be in terms of carbon emissions and carbon drawdowns by 2050. So ocean's role is not always explicitly mentioned in the usual figures we look at. They include things like direct air capture, BECCS, bioenergy and carbon capture and sequestration, renewable energies, etc. But here we will pay a little bit attention to what contributions ocean can make in sequestering carbon to meet the global warming targets that we are aiming at, generally under the IPCC guidelines.